This is Mark Belton, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. Here with my boy, Tony. We're gonna ask him some questions. You may have seen this freak on Realworld Tactical on his Instagram channel. He's just going absolutely nuts, flipping tires, jumping over a bunch of crap, throwing punches and kicks and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. First off, before we get to some of these questions that you guys submitted on Instagram, tell me a little bit about your background and where did this Realworld Tactical stuff come from?
Started off in the military at 18 years old. I did 4 years in the Marine Corps. Was a firearms instructor and a close combat instructor there. And then I jumped into law enforcement, and I just recently retired in law enforcement. I did about 13, 14 years there. So total experience, I would say 18 years in law enforcement, military combined, as a firearms instructor, combatives instructor, strength conditioning coach, and pretty much the inventor of my own program, which it was the hybrid functional strength program.
That's what I really like about watching some of the stuff that he's putting out, is that he's not just someone who's inventing a program or coming up with a concept. He's actually doing it. You can see he's built like a shit brick house over here. So let's get to some of these questions. When did you start being a fucking savage?
I have no idea when I started becoming a savage. At an early age, I just started training real hard, and I haven't stopped training really hard. I don't consider myself a savage, so.
What kind of training did you start doing?
When I first started, it was just basic bodybuilding, powerlifting. I always loved going heavy, doing the bodybuilding type style of training, and then I would do obviously my style of powerlifting, which is not Mark's Bell style. It was just heavy strength type stuff.
No one could be as strong as me,
Yeah,
bro.
of course not. And then I got into the military. Obviously, in the military, the food is not there, the nutrition is not there, and they run you a lot of calisthenics. So I started integrating a lot of the weightlifting with calisthenics, mixing it up, and then that's one of my program. I started designing my own program in regards to what military and law enforcement needed for what they do in the type of combat.
What about like MMA type stuff? When did you start doing some of that?
Well, I started karate at the age of like 4, I believe 5 years old.
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I started that.
So
and
the
then,
answer to the question is 5 years old is when he became a savage.
yeah.
Why karate?
I don't know. My parents just put me in there probably because I lived in a bad neighborhood growing up, and they wanted me to be able to defend myself.
They saw Karate Kid.
They saw Karate Kid.
They're like Daniel's son.
I want my son to be just like him. So
Yeah.
I started doing that, and then became a passion of mine, and I've been doing mixed martial arts ever since. So it's been about 30 years or so. I'm 36 now. So
You said you grew up in a bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
well, we started off in Carroll City, and then from there went to Hialeah, and then we moved up, started going up to Southwest in Miami. I started, born and raised in Miami, Florida. Now it's called Miami Gardens, so first Carroll City, and then Hialeah, and then I went to Southwest Miami-Dade, and then Cutler Ridge, and so on and so forth.
Just not a lot of great things going on there.
Oh no, not in the beginning. Bad neighborhoods, and it was just me, my mom, my grandmother. So we traveled. We always moved around a lot.
Cool. Let's see. Somebody has a question. They said, what's the ultimate goal for your physical fitness? You in particular, what's your goal?
My goal has always been, as a person for my weight, for example, whatever weight I'm at, to be 20 pounds. Yeah, I'm at 235, 240,
Okay.
235, 240. I want to be stronger than a guy that's 260, 265, and I want to be faster than a guy that's 215, 210. So you want to be a hybrid. You have to be 20 pounds stronger and 20 pounds faster, lighter and faster, to keep that physical agilities, to keep the cardio, and still be functionally strong. That's my goal.
Favorite kind of donut?
Favorite kind of donut? Oh my gosh. Probably I would say Krispy Kreme and Momo's Donuts. Momo's, that's some good stuff.
Always giving a shout out. That's just one of his sponsors.
Yeah,
He
Momo's.
probably just got paid a lot of money. A lot of money for
No,
that
but
right
listen,
there.
if you ever go to Texas, Dallas, Momo's Donuts are the best. Number one, they're awesome.
So we got a political one a little bit.
Okay.
We don't dodge anything around here. We're going to answer all questions, or at least try to. How do you feel about the current state of gun control in the U.S.? Do you feel it's too lenient? If so, what changes would you make?
As in gun control, I'm a hardcore believer of the Second Amendment. I believe everybody, if the country is giving you your right to bear arms, and bear arms, and if you can bear whatever arm they give you, buy it, become proficient with it, train with it. Don't just own it, not know what you're doing with it.
Yeah, you mentioned to me earlier, a large percentage of the people that come to you that learn how to shoot, you're an instructor, a lot of them don't even know. They have these real expensive, they've got expensive equipment, expensive guns. They don't never even touch something.
Correct. A lot of guys, they collect guns or they spend all this money on guns, and then I ask them when was the last time you trained with it, and they haven't in 2 or 3 years. So I always ask them, like, what's the purpose of owning all these guns? A gun is a tool. I mean, some people are collectors, which I understand that, or it's a hobby. But if you're gonna own something that is a tool, then you should become proficient with it. If you own a hammer, you should be a carpenter, you learn how to use a hammer, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing with a gun. I'm a firm believer that if you're capable of owning a gun and you're not a criminal, then own it to be able to, defend your family and yourself.
Do you think there should be any sort of certification or anything, any sort of
I do.
licensing
That's one
or
thing. Yes, that's the one thing.
like instruction.
Yeah,
perhaps,
I believe if that a lot of the laws on just buying a gun and then just owning it and that's it, that shouldn't be like that. If you buy a gun, you should have like at least an 8 or a 10-hour class on how to properly shoot a firearm and how to properly use a firearm. And I'm not talking about like the CWP where you go for 2 hours and you shoot one time and that's it and you're good to go and you get a concealed weapons permit. I'm talking about actually going and learning from a formal instructor that knows what he's doing and teaching you all the fundamentals of actually shooting.
It's a real complicated topic and a controversial one. If you were to say like, let's have stricter gun laws, what would that day look like on paper when you start to enforce stricter gun laws? It would look like fucking Judgment Day.
Yeah.
There would be a lot of deaths. There would probably be a lot of problems going on. The people that are, a lot of the people that have guns, that are misusing guns, that maybe aren't as informed about guns, a lot of times they end up being people that aren't upholding the law in the first place.
Correct.
So,
yes.
So
it would be it would not be good.
Yeah.
To more stricter gun laws. It would be hard to go backwards at this point. It would be very, very difficult.
Good question. Controversial topic at the moment, but a good, great question nonetheless. What are your views on overtraining? With the style of training that you're doing, you put our guys through the ringer today. We had a CrossFitter in here today, a strongman athlete, and also a powerlifter / bodybuilder. And those guys went through, I think, 3 or 4 different movements, and they did like about 4 different rounds of those movements. That was just day one. That was kind of more for like a YouTube type video.
Correct.
We were just trying to annihilate them just to kind of showcase
Correct.
your style of training and stuff. How does somebody start to integrate some of this stuff so they're not overtraining?
Well, you would get your regular bodybuilding. Let's say if you're a bodybuilder and you train 5 days a week, you'd take 1 day or 2 days out of your bodybuilding, double up your muscle groups. Exactly. You do like either back and arms or whatever you do it like that, and then use that day as your integration day, where you would actually do the strength conditioning that day instead of doing bodybuilding.
Gotcha.
You'd work out just normally like an hour and a half, and you're gonna add whatever weakness or whatever weak part of your body you are. Whether if you need to work on speed, then you do speed work. If you need to work on strength, you do strength work. You need to work on explosiveness, and you work explosive work.
Right.
And then you integrate at least twice a week. You would like at least 2 to 3 times a week would be good to do it.
So you're basically just starting to chip away at it.
Correct.
About 2 times a week you're working on some form of conditioning.
Exactly.
Let's say that you're 15 pounds overweight and you just want to get started in the right direction. You want to be a little healthier. You want to maybe move the way you used to in high school, and you're in your mid-30s or so. What are some simple things that someone can do, maybe like after a workout? Like what's some couple things somebody can start to integrate? I saw you doing farmer walks with the guys today and stuff like that. Very easy concept. You carry stuff.
Yeah.
You walk around with stuff. You walk a distance. So
Yeah.
there's some things like that you might utilize with somebody who just simply wants to feel a little better and lose a little bit of weight.
I would tell you, first, before foremost is your diet. If you just want to lose like the 15 pounds to lose a little bit, cut away, dieting is one of the first things you got to do. Clean up your diet. If you're eating pizza every night, you know what I'm saying? If you're not going to do it, it's going to be twice as hard. So if you're trying to lose weight, then you have to come down more to the conditioning side than the strength side. If you're going to be doing the strength side, then you're going to work more movement strength or functional strength than you would be like on max load type stuff, where you're going to do 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of a lighter weight and longer duration. You would end up working, for example, let's say farmer's walk, you wouldn't use as much weight. You would do less weight and you would do 5 or 6 sets, longer distances, and then maybe add some deadlifts on it, or maybe add some squats to it, or some air squats to it, where you're using more calisthenics body weight, and you're gonna burn more calories. You know what I'm saying? Doing that. But you could do it using farmer's work, regardless of the matter. You're still moving, you're still burning calories, and if you can do stuff outside, I definitely recommend that, especially if where you live it's very hot, 80, 90 degrees. It's always going to burn more calories, and it's going to be a lot harder to do and sweat more on the outside than you will inside of a gym.
We have some more good questions to get to, but we're going to resume that in another video. Make sure you check out the next video that we do with him. Strength is never weakness, and that is it for Super Training Gym.